Hi everybody! In today's episode of What Do You Know Wednesday, we're going to be talking about Bing keyword bidding strategies, particularly implicit versus explicit bidding. Now before we get started, I really want to encourage everyone to just take everything that you know about AdWords, keyword match types and bidding strategies and just kind of put them out of your mind, because the Bing audience is completely different and their algorithm is different also. So the two types are implicit and explicit bidding. And what Bing has determined through their research is that exact match type actually gains more conversions than broad or phrase. So exact gains the most, and then broad match type, and then phrase match type. So with implicit bidding, if you set the bid at say $4 for your exact match keyword, then the two match types that are lower in this tier in terms of conversions are actually going to inherit this bid if you don't set the bid at anything else. So if you set exact at $4, then broad and phrase are also going to be $4 automatically. Now the same is true if you set the exact max CPC at $4, and then if you set the broad match CPC at $5, then phrase match is actually going to inherit the $5 bid. Now this strategy actually isn't recommended by Bing for a couple different reasons. Number one, your match types are actually competing against each other if they're all set at the same max CPC bid. And secondly, you're not maximizing the potential of your exact match by setting it at the same bid as broad or phrase, because these can be matched to more keywords than exact match. So what they recommend is explicit bidding. Now, with this strategy, you can set your bid, your exact match bid at say $5. And then what Bing recommends is that you set your broad match type at 85% of that bid. So that's going to be $4.25. And then that you set your phrase match bid at 75% of the $5 exact match bid, and that's going to be $3.75. Now what this does is optimizes the chances of your exact match type of matching to more queries, and you're not going to have as much competition with the other match types. Now, as most or all of you know, this creates a good caveat for Bing's pausing rule. So say that you have a broad match type keyword that's performing really well for you that month. The CPL is good, it's within your target range, and it's gaining a lot of conversions. But say that your phrase match and your exact match aren't performing as well, and you want to pause those. Well, as Bing currently stands, you can't pause just the underperforming phrase and exact match. You have to pause all three if you want to pause anything. So this isn't necessarily the most effective way to be able to optimize your account. You either have to pause all three and lose the good performing broad match, or you have to leave them all running and not be able to optimize the account as well as you otherwise could. So this creates kind of a good caveat to get around this, because if your broad match is working well, what Bing recommends is that you set the underperforming match types to a 5-cent bid. And that is going to increase the chances of your top performing broad match bid of showing, and reduces the chances of the underperforming types of showing. And this prevents you from having to go through and pause them, and then maybe next month, you want to raise those bids, or unpause them. You have to remember which ones you paused and go back in and enable those. So this is kind of a way around that. So a couple of my coworkers went to the Bing conference a few weeks ago, and one of those is Felicia. And after she came back, she actually went ahead and implemented the explicit bidding strategy into one of her accounts. So I've asked her to be a part of this video today and just kind of talk about the changes in metrics that she experienced after implementing the explicit bidding strategy. So what changes have you noticed?
Well, a couple of different things. I had one campaign that was a little bit smaller, so I was able to actually implement the explicit bidding practice that Abby just talked about. And what happened was that my CPL dropped by about $50, and I was shocked. So it actually does work. I saw the CPL in the account drop from $107 to $55. So what I did was actually take my exact match, and I kind of set them all on the same playing field, and I increased all of my exact match to 5%, up by 5%. Because what happens is obviously Bing wants you to show the exact match type. So I thought, why not? We'll just increase that bit. Then I took 75 and 85% of that bid and I set my brought my phrase and went from there. And it took about maybe a week to start seeing the actual changes in the account. But the average position of my account and my keywords actually increased, which was great. The CTR stayed about the same, so that's also wonderful, but it really, really affected my CPL, so it worked really well. So I encourage everybody to try it. Like Abby said, it takes time, it takes some effort, but in the long run, I think you'll be really pleased with the results.
Thank you. So we recognize that this is just one account and results on one account, but obviously Felicia has noticed great results, so we really encourage you guys to just get out there and get in your accounts and try it. And we want to be clear, this isn't a bidding option that you can actually go in and check a box or click a button. This is something that you have to do manually. So I highly recommend that you utilize the editor for this, and good luck.
Like Abby said, it takes time, it takes some effort, but in the long run,